Alright guys, so any of you looking into Freemasonry, you will have noticed the signs, symbols, the gestures. You will have noticed the repetitiveness of them. You will also have noticed there seems to be a variety of symbols and gestures, what they do. Some of you might already know what the different gestures are. Some of you will have noticed certain people doing certain gestures. Some of you will just be in total awe seeing these gestures, seeing that they're all doing them, all various ones. And you lump them all in the same club. And I've been there myself, and it's easy to see why you would conclude this. Once you start to notice, it's clear that this is everywhere. And once you start seeing it everywhere, you begin to break down the differences. But Masonry is really shrouded in secrecy, and it's very hard, regardless of what anybody says, to break this stuff down properly. Some of you are just trying to show your friends and family that there is a club. Well, there is a club. And it's everywhere, from construction to Hollywood, and it goes right to the top. It's nothing new. And it is all aimed at your children. As well as you. Doesn't matter what you're into, or who you choose to follow. They're all doing it. You can't get on this screen, on the radio, on the papers, and the magazines, You can't get on the mainstream without being a part of it in some way. But they're not all the same. You see, Freemasonry, they groom people off the streets, businessmen, nobodies, anybody. If you're recommended by a Mason, then you can go and be evaluated and join as an entered apprentice, knowing nothing. And Masons progress through the degrees to the second degree to the fellowcraft, and then the third degree to become a Master Mason. Learning the steps and knowing slightly more than those below. Those below being lied to by those above until they make the grade and have more secrets revealed. The first, second and third degrees. These guys, these people, these Masons, this is like kindergarten. And most of these people will be doing some of their signs for their entered apprentice, fellowcraft and Master Mason degrees, thinking they're enlightened. And there is all of this to go. Now once you reach the third degree, you decide on the pillars, the red or the blue, the Scottish or the York Rite, and you progress through. So, I don't want to go on and on and on. I want to get to the point. To learn the secrets, Masons use tracing boards. This is a first degree tracing board, and in it we'll see loads of things going on, lots of symbology. We'll see immediately things that you might recognise: the checkered floor, the pillars, the sun, the moon, the black sun. In the middle of the black sun we can see the eye. We can see the ladder and the angels descending with the keys. We can see the square and compass. We can see the two pillars and the circle and dot, the singularity, the circumpunct. We can see the ashlars, the unhewn stone and the finished product. This is the Mason as he enters, and the finished Mason. A first degree Mason will tell me that what I'm about to share to you is not the truth, but it is the truth. This is what this is all about. Because when you reach the higher levels, you're then told the secrets, the real secrets about the first 3 degrees. This is a second degree Masonic tracing board. Sorry guys. Once we progress all the way up, as I said, we learn the real meanings about these things. Once you've progressed to a 3rd degree Mason, you choose your path. Both paths lead to the same conclusion. Most Masons at the 3rd degree get asked to join the Royal Arch. Which is the Arch of Baal. The god of the Masons, Jarbulon. This is all shrouded and hidden, veiled in the Bible. The Masons claim that their very order Their very group, their way of life, it's all based on the Bible. Well, that's kind of true. See, when you join the Masons, the first thing you have to do is kill the old man. Be born again. But this is not being born again, as the Bible says, as Yeshua says. This is the beginning of the Masons' road to enlightenment without the Messiah. This is the self-ascension. Now, the base levels, the lower degrees, they really believe, because they're told, that this is about building society, structure, civilization, the architecture, just general civilization structure. Well, that is true. They call that the great work. We can see on the seal of the United States who they're doing the great work for. Who exactly is pleased with this work. So if you're on some channels and you see in the comments another famous channel saying great work in brackets, that is the signal that they're doing the great work. The great work from the beginning. The plan. Don't trust the plan, guys. So the initiate Mason rolls his trouser leg up, is blindfolded, and he goes through the initiation ceremony. He learns that Masonry is about the building of the Solomon Temple. He learns that Freemasonry is based on the two pillars of Yakim and Boaz. A quick Google, we can read that according to the Bible, Boaz and Yakin were two copper or bronze pillars which stood in the porch of Solomon's temple, the first temple in Jerusalem. They are sometimes used as symbols in Freemasonry and tarot. Okay? Tarot. So this joins the two together straight away. The Freemason will go on to learn about Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff, the king of Tyre. We can read Hiram, the king of Tyre, the realm of Tyre. Today, the modern nation of Lebanon is credited in 2 Samuel 5:11, 1 Kings 5, chapter 5, verses 1 through 10. He sent building materials and men for the original construction of the temple in Jerusalem. In the Masonic drama, Hiram, king of Tyre, is clearly distinguished from Hiram Abiff. So straight away we start to see that people amongst the higher orders, the degrees of Freemasonry, are more aware. And Hiram, the king of Tyre, he is clearly distinguished from Hiram Abiff. But as Bible believers, we can go to Ezekiel and we can see who the king of Tyre is. Ezekiel 28 reads, Son of man, say to the prince of Tyre, Thus saith the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a god. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou hast said in thy heart, thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver to thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and they shall die the deaths of those who are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man, and no God, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, says the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. So we can see that the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is not happy with the king of Tyre. And the king of Tyre is just a man. But the king of Tyre believes he is God. But then in verse 11, we read on, Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. So the king of Tyrus is the anointed cherub that possesses a host man. And he is king of this world, or the king of Tyre. The king of Tyre at this point, but one day the king of the world. Thou was in the holy mountain of God. So we see that this is all of God. This is all God's creation. Everything is of God, and they take it and rip it off. The holy mountain. Travis Scott. Thou was upon the holy mountain of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, Elohim. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day thou wast created, until iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Before I will cast thee as profane out of the mouth of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Now we'll see that the Masons, they call us the profane, but it is the real king of Tyre, the anointed cherub that covereth, that is cast out as the profane. And we see that it is all about the building of the hewn temple built of bricks and stone. We can see the pillars of Yakim and Boaz. This is Antichrist, because you are the temple. Yeshua told you that you are the temple. You are a great city. You are the living temple of the living God. God does not live in temples of bricks and stone. This is Antichrist. So going back to this, so you progress from the third degree, from the breeding pole, where the groom initiates. The first 3 degrees, they're kept there and they're used to form the base of their society. The shopkeepers, the grocers, the mechanics, the daily life, lower end, the business, the people that are going to interact with you and me and other profane normal people, muggles, to mug us off. If a 3rd degree Mason decides to progress, the chances are they will go through the Royal Arch degree of Freemasonry. A lot of you know about the Arch of Baal, the son of perdition. This is a global thing. the Freemasons, and we see at the top, the top of the arch is what they call the Keystone. The Keystone component is the key of the arch. It's seen in the Bible that Yeshua is the stone that the builders rejected. The head of the corner, the chief cornerstone. There is no corner in a royal arch, but they have a stone that they set as the head. This is this symbol. This is the vase vessel symbol. It is the keystone. So you progress through the ranks, and the higher ranks then go right back to the very beginning and relearn what this means. We can see